my friends, Jerry Rosa here outside the Rosa Stringworks workshop, and you can see I have my sawmill set up here. You can see I have these 16.5 foot long logs on here, and they're cedar, red cedar here that we cut right off the farm. This one is about, I'm just guessing, but I'm going to say 16 inches in diameter on the big end and only about 12 inches at the most on the little end. Now this one's narrows down quite a bit more. Some of the other ones are much better. All I'm really wanting to do is to get some 5x5s out of this. You know, if I can get some 1x's out of it, that's just a bonus. But mainly I just want to get a couple of 5x5s. In other words, some real long posts. So here we go. Well, I gotta be honest with you, I probably cut that a little deeper than I should have. I thought I had it just about right, but I'm not sure I can get a 5x5 out of the end of that now. It'll be close. If I'd have been up another inch, or even a half inch, I'd have probably been a lot better off. I've got almost exactly 5 inches left down there, which is not good. I could have had another half inch there and that would be a lot better. This was the smallest long log and it's kind of my waist log, so I'm not really too worried about it because I've got 4 more that'll be plenty good. And I thought if I can get one out of this, I can surely get one out of the rest of them. Well, we'll try cut number 2 on this one, and since, like I said, this is kind of my practice one anyway, we'll see how it goes. Turned out pretty good. So I'll flip the log yet again and we'll try another cut. I'm going to leave it at about 6 inches instead of 5 or so. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to be a critical measurement. The bigger the better, sort of, kind of. So it's not a big deal. So I'm going to leave it a little big on this dimension. Got a big taper to it, so you know, I knew this would be the hard one to get one out of, and I'll barely get one out of it. I may turn around and just resaw this one for lumber. I don't know. Like I said, I don't really need this one. I'm just kind of practicing on this one to understand what I'm doing a little bit better. I don't do this every day. It's not my main job. My little homemade bandsaw works awfully well, so I'm real proud of it. Well, since this is the last cut on this post, I'm going to just leave it set where it was. This is another 6 inches right there. We'll see if it turns out to be a 6-inch square post. It should be pretty close. Pretty dang well, considering that I could have made it a little better had I made that first cut about a half-inch shallower. Yeah, it would have been better, but that's really not bad. It's got a lot of wane on this one side, but that's okay for my purpose. It really won't make any difference. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'll maybe show you a few more clips as I saw some more of those logs, but there's quite a few more logs laying over there, and you probably saw that in my previous video. I'm not going to tell you what I'm making because I'm just going to saw the logs right now, and that's this video. And then the next video will be showing you what I'm actually building. I've got one of the slabs laying there that I sawed off that post, and I'm going to try to saw an inch off the bottom of it, which would just be a 1-inch cedar board, which would be nice. It won't be very long, maybe 8 feet long, if that, but we'll see. Pretty good, actually. Well, I don't know, up there maybe 6 inches wide by maybe an 8-foot long board, so that's not too bad. Actually, it's only about 4.5. Let's see here, if we can get 8 foot out of it, how wide would it be? We can get 5 inches out of 8 foot, and that'll be pretty clear, so that's not too bad. I'll take that. Better than just wasting it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make a 5.5 inch cut on this board here. Yeah, I know, I could have cut it on my table saw, but what would be the fun in that? Give you some idea of what we're cutting here. This cedar, it's beautiful wood. It really is beautiful. And smells good, and it's soft enough that the sawmill has no trouble cutting it whatsoever. Of course, it doesn't really have a trouble cutting that oak either, as long as you got a good sharp blade in there. That was a pretty thin cut in places too. The log is a little crooked, but I think we still got enough room to straighten it out. I think I'm going to go ahead and take another 1-inch board off of that. I hope I'll have enough room. Let me double check that. Well, actually, I wish I would have just made that cut a 1/2 inch deeper, because I don't think I can get a whole inch out of it. I think I'll just go back through and skim a 1/2 inch. It's kind of sad that when you get another cut, that's all I'm going to do. Well, that's just a small 3/8 thick piece of wood. I dropped it a 1/2 inch, but that only leaves because of the 1/8 inch thickness of the blade, that leaves a 3/8 inch thick board. You can see it does a nice job cutting it though. Yeah, that left it nice. Now I can get my 1/6 inch out of there, I believe. I'm going to see if I can get a 1-inch board out of this. So I'm going to skim the top first. That didn't work out all that well. I thought I was going to be down a little deeper than that. I would like to get an 8-foot 1x out of this, and I think I can. I'm going to drop it down another 1/2 inch, take another skim cut, then take a 1-inch board. It tapers a lot, and it's really hard to judge sometimes. Okay, I dropped it a 1/2 inch, which will be a 3/8 inch skim cut, and I'd just like to get an 8-foot long 1-inch board out of this, and I think I can do it. I think. And by the way, I thought I'd just mention, People always say, you need a water drip on this. Well, I did have a water drip on it, and I took it off. The blade never even gets warm, let alone hot. I mean, it doesn't even get warm. Secondly, the water, all it does is just cause it sawdust to stick to everything. So there's really no reason to put water in there. I can't figure out why people do it. It makes no sense to me at all. I did it, and I undid it. So there you go. And I had soap in the water the whole bit. I did the whole 9 yards, tested it every way to sundown. I like cutting it without the water. It works really good. I mean, after all, your bandsaw in your shop, you don't need water. Think about it. Even when you're resawing, you don't need water. Thought I'd give you a close-up of the log there that we're sawing. Give you some idea of what it looks like. It's a beautiful wood. And it makes great posts, fence posts that last pretty much forever. Of course, a 16-foot post is going to have a different purpose. I'm hoping you'll be able to figure it out, but you probably won't figure it out in this video. I'm going to have a follow-up video showing you what I'm going to build out of this. Well, my friends, I thought I'd show you that was the last board out of that whole pile of logs that used to be over there. Great big pile. That was the last one. You can see all the scrap there. Now, that's not all scrap. I would say it's about 85 or maybe 90% scrap over there. But we'll pull out a board or two that we can resaw yet. Most of that's too thin to make a decent board out of, or too short if it was thick enough. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you that this last cut was only a 1/4 inch thick, and you can see how it's bowing there, how flimsy it is. This thing will saw incredibly thin. You can see that there. It really saws thin and accurately. Very pleased with my saw. I will tell you the only two problems with this saw, I mean, you know, obviously a lot of things could be better, but the main two things, number one, the winch and the battery combination are a little small. I should have a bigger battery and a bigger winch. That's the first problem. And, you know, with the bigger winch, I could put a bigger sprocket up there, which would make it spin faster. So the up and down is slow. So that's the main problem. Well, after thinking about it again, really that's the only problem I've got. You could call that multiple problems. I mean, the battery is one, the size of the winch is 2, and then the size of the sprocket is 3. But really, if that was upgraded, and I could upgrade it, I just don't use it enough to hardly mess with it. But if that was upgraded, this saw would be pretty hard to beat for just a little privately owned, made saw, you know, for a homemade saw. Otherwise, it's pretty darn fine. Really happy with it.